This program is brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?
Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. Trust is a very important commodity in business. Within the insurance sector, consumers diligently pay their monthly premiums, trusting that at the most critical moments within their lives, such as the birth of a child, the sickness or death of a loved one, the shock of a car accident, the loss of income upon retirement, or even their house burning down, they will have at least the financial burden caused by such disruptions attended to. For this trust to exist, service standards need to be high, regulations strong, and customer needs consistently met. An important vehicle to greatly addressing and improving the challenges within Botswana's relatively new insurance industry is the annual Insurance Institute of Botswana, or IIB conference, which recently took place for the second time. With only 3% of Botswana said to be insured, there is great growth potential for this industry. With the development of its insurance industry, Botswana would enjoy several benefits, including the improvement of financial services and wealth management, job creation and the diversification of the economy, better risk and disaster management, and more. Ziki Nganunu, president of the Insurance Institute of Botswana, or IIB, joins us this evening to give us a comprehensive overview of Botswana's insurance industry as it currently stands, as well as give us some insight as to what is facilitated by the annual IIB conference.
Insurance and retirement fund sector in Botswana has grown considerably over the years. There are quite a number of players both on the life side, the non-life side, the broking side, even recently reinsurers, loss adjusters, as well as retirement funds of different sorts. So the industry has grown, the employment levels have grown, the assets under management and the assets deployed by insurance companies have grown, and the industry has shown itself to be stable and resilient and has continued to grow, even as the mining sector's relative contribution to the economy has declined, relatively speaking. So it has progressed considerably. There's much improvement in terms of the way it is regulated, with the regulatory authority working on changing the regulations, the Act, introducing prudential rules. So there's been a lot of development in terms of regulation to bring us up to the modern standard.
What do you see as the main hurdles to growing the sector currently, and of course the main opportunities for growth?
Some of the hurdles in growing the sector are, one of them is the level of skills development. So much as a lot of people in Botswana have taken basic insurance qualifications, the likes of your COP, not that many have progressed all the way up to become chartered or to become fellows. So you see the same in the banking sector. BICA, for example, we have people moving up and becoming chartered accountants. We have the same in insurance. We have chartered insurers, or fellows as they're sometimes called. So we haven't seen enough Botswana working their way up. It takes many years of self-study. You have to do it while you're working. Many people enter the insurance industry by mistake. Maybe they started as engineers or accountants or lawyers, and very few actually started off with a degree in insurance. So we are trying to encourage more people to take those professional exams, become professional insurers. We encourage institutions like the Botswana Accounting College and BISAHO and University of Botswana to be producing undergraduates with an insurance degree in the beginning, insurance and risk management, so that more people enter the industry and we have more professionals in the industry. So it's very important that those who work in the industry fully understand the products, make sure that they're selling the right products, they're designing the right products, they know how to settle the claims, so that we build the trust. And building the trust, we believe, is part of growing the insurance industry. So the opportunities are also beyond the borders of Botswana, and I think what we wanted to highlight as part of the insurance conference was that there is a lot of opportunity for Botswana to sell insurance and reinsurance services to a bigger market beyond our borders. As you'll be aware, we've got the IFSC framework that was designed specifically for financial services companies to allow them to domicile in Botswana, yet export that service to the region or even further afield. And in fact, we have already 3 reinsurance companies in Botswana that have set up and do exactly that. They have their offices here in Botswana, they employ people, there are foreign investors who invested here, they brought in capital, and they're writing business from other parts of the region, not just Botswana. In fact, in some cases, more of their business is coming from outside of Botswana, so that's foreign exchange coming into the country and jobs being created. So we think there's more opportunity for that. We have to, as I said, improve our level of skills. We also have to adapt the latest in terms of technology. We need to make the policies easier for people to read and understand. We need to make sure that also in the way in which we sell and administer insurance policies and insurance claims, we use the highest ethical standards. Because if we don't, it can leave the industry with a bad name.
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world. Because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to First Issues as we consider the potential of Botswana's insurance industry to diversify the economy, as was the focus of the 2nd Annual Insurance Institute of Botswana conference.
We chose a theme related to insurance's contribution to the diversification of the economy. We believe that insurance and retirement funds can contribute very greatly to the diversification of the economy. It creates good paying jobs, it brings in income, it helps industries to grow, so it's a very useful part of the economy. I think what was important in this conference is that we had the support of government, and the acting president, His Honor, came to open and show the support for the industry. And likewise, we had a lot of support from the regulator. So the acting CEO of NBFIRO also came and gave a keynote address. So this is very important because it lets people understand that indeed insurance and retirement funds are a very key part of the economy, and they support its growth. So there were some very interesting conversations. One of the very important ones was around financial inclusion. And financial inclusion is where we are saying that the insurance industry, the retirement funds, microinsurance, those are very important to enable those who are currently excluded from the financial system to become included. So the insurance penetration is quite low in Botswana by international standards. So there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done by the insurance industry to make it affordable and make products available for those who currently don't have insurance. That's a very important discussion that was had, and more work needs to be done by the industry on that. Another very important one was on technology and how technology is moving so quickly and the traditional model of insurance is changing. We are used to going and queuing and waiting a few weeks for a policy document. That's changing very quickly around the world, and we need to change, otherwise we'll be left behind. I think the bandwidth has become very available. Most people have smartphones, and we as the industry need to quickly adopt those modern technologies. So that was another key theme of the conference. Another very important part of the conference was on the savings side, so pensions and retirement funds. And what we learned from one of the speakers from the African Development Bank is that there's a huge need for funding of infrastructure, not just in Botswana but across Africa. There's a considerable infrastructure gap. I think we've seen it here with our roads and infrastructure. So a lot of this funding can and should be coming from the savings, the pension funds people have collected over the years. And currently in Botswana, a lot of that is being invested offshore. And the question is, how do we create more opportunities for those funds to be invested within Botswana profitably and add to the infrastructure and help diversify the economy? It's not such an easy thing in a small country or in any country. So there was quite a bit of debate around that. There was also debate around whether we are saving enough for our own retirement, and that is it's a national concern. We need to make sure we save more than we currently do and perhaps spend a bit less than we currently do.
Sounds like very engaging topics there. Just a little bit on inclusion. How do you see insurance products being able to improve the quality of life of the average Botswana? How could they better serve Botswana in that way?
What's happening in the past is that insurance products were quite set in the way they were defined. If you want, for example, to take a motor car insurance policy, you'd have to take maybe an annual policy. You have to pay it for the whole year up front. Yet, you find people who maybe only want to insure their car maybe over Christmas. But the insurance industry does not cater for that. But now with technology overseas, you're already finding people who will insure a product, let's say their bicycle or their cell phone, only when they're outside of the house. The moment they leave the house, a mobile app activates the insurance, and the moment they come back, it switches it off. And they only get charged for the time that they're outside of the house, where there's the risk of it being lost. So, it makes it more affordable because you only take it when you need it. It can be more relevant. It's easier to insure cell phones and mobile devices that young people have with technology. The traditional way of insuring it, it's a bit cumbersome, and the number of steps along the chain is not worthwhile for someone to go through that just to insure a cell phone. So what you find is that technology is going to enable the millennials, younger people, to ensure the things that are important for them much, much more easily and more cost effectively.
Welcome back to First Issues. We are now joined by the Managing Director of UK-based firm, Jeff Heisman Training and Consultancy. He shares his optimism for the industry's capacity to become globally competitive through internationalizing their products and their processes.
Singapore had a population of 1.65 million. It didn't have any natural resources. It didn't have a skilled workforce in terms of particular skills related to financial services, or certainly a high development of skills. So, but it did have in its favour a strong rule of law principles in the country. So at present, people often think Botswana is too small to become a financial centre, but actually the population is larger than Singapore was at the time that they embarked on their internationalisation strategy. Botswana has strong rule of law principles. Botswana now has in place the Insurance Institute of Botswana. Botswana Accounting College, a number of providers now upskilling the workforce, and the economic conditions and political stability are right. Mauritius was in a similar position. Its sugarcane exports were declining, its high-end tourism industry collapsed during the financial crisis, and what they did was to liberalise the market through new laws and streamlining of processes. And again, Botswana has a very strong reputation for ease of doing business and liberalisation of the market. So we took the best of both countries, Mauritius and Singapore, compared the factors with Botswana, and my message to the audience was that if Mauritius and Singapore can do it, then why can't Botswana?
What is the future of help? It's to help people find the great in themselves. The drive, the passion. Help them find their true potential. Help them stretch. Help them grow. That's why we help people help themselves, help the world. Because a little help goes a long, long way. FNB, how can we help you?
Tonight marks the beginning of cardiologist Professor Kiran Bhagat's new series entitled Own Your Day, Own Your Life. This follows on from our attempts throughout the year to draw attention to the growing threat posed by non-communicable diseases the world over. We're talking about both the developed and the developing world. By now, we fully appreciate that this threat exists as a result of people eating more processed and junk foods instead of healthy fruits, vegetables, and lean meats, and leading more sedentary lifestyles. The impact on the economy is immeasurable. Absenteeism as a result of chronic illness, presenteeism because of an inability to carry out work responsibilities effectively, reduced quality of life for entire households as incomes are compromised and family members take on caretaker roles, spending and opportunities compromised by healthcare bills, and the wider economy suffering a loss of labor force and a strain on healthcare expenditure. The list goes on and on. So for those of you who are now rightfully concerned and are looking to adopt healthier habits to reduce your chances of developing diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic non-communicable diseases, this new preventative series with Professor Bhagat will guide you as to the right food and lifestyle choices to make moment by moment throughout your day. We understand that when trying to live and eat healthier, there can be so much conflicting and confusing information out there. Fad diets, trendy workouts that come and go, questionable advice as to how much sleep to get, water to drink, foods to eat, and more. This before you even get to the growing list of strange alternative therapies. Professor Bhagat explains how he aims to cut through all this noise and help you down the right path over the next few weeks.
We've been talking about a lot of the lifestyle diseases. We've talked about diabetes and blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, and some of the things that affect our population. And we've driven home the point that these are largely lifestyle diseases. So in order to make it more relevant to the public that are listening and to those that think, oh, this doesn't really affect me, it was important to make sure that we explain to them how does one make this practical in terms of how do they get up in the morning, what do they do, how do they exercise, What sort of foods do they eat for breakfast, lunch and supper? How do they own their day and as a result own their life? And I guess, as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, so your life isn't built in a day, and life is not a sprint, it's a slow run. And so we wanted to sort of take the public through a day in somebody's life that is healthy.
Because it is about the day-to-day decisions, how you take care of your rest, what you eat, moment to moment, cumulatively, that results in lifestyle.
Absolutely. All the diseases we've talked about, whether it's stroke or blood pressure or diabetes, don't suddenly appear. It is a misconception that suddenly your blood pressure is high or that suddenly you go to the doctor and the sugar is high. It's been there for a while as a result of the choices that you've been making on a day-to-day basis. With diabetes, it's lack of exercise, it's the wrong foods, it's perhaps stress, and the same with blood pressure. It may be that you've been taking too much salt, you've again not been exercising, and then all these cumulative day by day, minute by minute lifestyle changes begin to affect you in the diseases that we've talked about. So you're right, it's a day by day, minute by minute approach.
Taken from someone who does try to do the right thing and has come across such a wealth of sometimes contradicting information regarding how much water to drink, which foods are right for you, which cause inflammation, which don't, and how much sleep every person needs. I think this will be a very educational series.
I think so, Namit. So I think it's going to perhaps make the public understand that they are their best doctor. Listen to the body. If the body's thirsty, then drink. Don't go by guidelines which seem to change. Everybody says, it's 8 glasses of water or, 1.5 liters a day. Some spiritual churches say, a liter a day in the morning must be a must. Fasting should be. So there are a lot of things that we need to break myths on, but at the same time also make sure that the public are aware that they are their best doctor. They know when there's a pain, they realize there's a pain. And if somebody says, we've done all the tests and there's nothing that's coming up, if the pain is still there, we've done the wrong tests. So that's the purpose of this, empower yourself.
In the weeks to come on this series, we're going to be exploring the healthy habits to adopt from the moment you open your eyes in the morning to you close them to go to bed at night. Beginning next week with the good choices to make before you even have your breakfast. This program was brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?